Ah, my children, come closer to the fire. Let your hearts grow warm and your ears open wide. This is not just a story, it is a mirror of wisdom, a whisper from the old ones telling us that love without wisdom is like rain falling on dry sand. Long, long ago, before the rivers were named and before men built fences around their hearts, there was a village called Tucana near the edge of the great Rift Valley. The sun there was golden and kind, and the river that kissed its border was called Mutozi, the river of whispers. It was said that Mutozi had a spirit, handsome, mysterious, and older than time itself. And in this village lived a girl named Amani, beautiful as the morning dew on banana leaves, bright as the first light that dances on the hills. Her laughter could make goats stop chewing, and her eyes, oh, those eyes, could melt even the hardest warrior's pride. But beauty, my children, beauty is like a drumbeat. It attracts many dancers, not all with pure hearts. Amani was the only daughter of Mama Chiku, the village healer, a wise woman whose words carried the weight of thunder and the softness of rain. Her mother always warned her, "Child, the river whispers sweetly, but not every voice that calls you is meant to be answered." But Amani, young and full of wonder, believed her heart knew more than the old ones. One evening, while fetching water from River Mutoze, Amani heard a voice, soft and deep, like water flowing over smooth stones. "Why do you hide your face from me, daughter of earth?" Startled, she looked around. No one was there. Only the river shimmered, reflecting the orange sunset. Then, from the rippling surface rose a figure, tall, cloaked in light, with eyes like moonlit water. It was Louis, the river spirit. "I have watched you, Amani," he said, his voice calm and dangerous. "Your kindness feeds the world like rain. Come walk with me beneath the waters, and I shall make you my queen." Amani's heart raced. She remembered her mother's warning, but oh, how sweet his voice was, like music only her soul could hear. For many nights, she returned to the river, speaking with Louis when the moon was high. Each time, he promised her a world of eternal love, a palace beneath the waves where sorrow could never find her. Mama Chiku soon noticed her daughter's dreamy eyes and fading laughter. She called her close. "My child, I smell river water in your hair. The spirits are watching you. Do not play with the unseen. They love with one hand and take with the other." But Amani, her voice trembling with love, replied, "Mama, you are wise in herbs and healing, but you do not know love as I do. Louis is kind. He listens. He loves me." Mama Chiku sighed deeply. "The river may love you, but it belongs to no one." Still, Amani's heart refused to listen. Desire, my children, can be a stronger current than wisdom. On the night of the red moon, Amani dressed in her finest, a beaded neck collar of blue and white, a woven skirt dyed with ash and ochre, and anklets that sang like crickets. She carried a small gourd of milk and honey, an offering of love. She stood by the riverbank whispering, "Louis, I am ready." The water rose, glowing faintly, and from it emerged Louis in full splendor, robes of flowing light, a crown of shells, and skin shimmering like liquid silver. He stretched his hand toward her, and without looking back, Amani stepped into the river. Amani gasped as the water wrapped around her, but instead of drowning, she found herself breathing. Around her stretched a world of beauty, crystal palaces, giant fish with golden scales, maidens with hair like river reeds, and lights that danced like fireflies. Louis smiled. "You see, my queen? You are mine forever." But beneath the beauty, something felt cold. The laughter of the river maidens had no joy. Their eyes were hollow, as if they longed for something lost. Still, Amani forced herself to smile. Love had brought her here, hadn't it? Days passed beneath the river, though time flowed differently there. One day, Amani found a broken calabash floating by the palace. It was hers, the one she had used on her last day in the village. Attached to it was a small woven bracelet, her mother's charm. As she touched it, she heard Mama Chiku's voice echo through the water. "Amani, listen to wisdom, child. Come home before the river remembers it must flow." Suddenly, the palace trembled. The waters darkened. Luqui's kind eyes turned to storm. "You wish to leave me?" he thundered. "You are mine." And that, my children, is where the story must rest. For now. Because sometimes wisdom waits for us in the silence before dawn. Ah, my children, are you still here? The fire has grown low, but the story is not yet done. Because when a heart ignores wisdom, even the spirits hold their breath. Last we left her, Amani, the girl with dawn in her eyes, had followed love beneath the river Mutosi. She thought she had found paradise, but the heart of the river began to churn. For days, Amani wandered the crystal halls, where every wall whispered her name. Yet she could not sleep. The river maidens sang, but their songs were sorrow. "Once we were daughters of earth," one whispered. "Now we are echoes." Amani's heart trembled. She began to remember the smell of her mother's herbs, the warmth of the sun on her skin, the laughter of her people. When she turned to Louis, she found him changed. His laughter had become thunder, his love a cage. "You belong here," he told her. "Love does not return to dust." But Amani remembered her mother's voice. "Love that does not let you breathe, my child, is not love. It is drowning." So she hid the bracelet her mother had sent close to her heart and began to plan. Far above the river, in the world of the living, Mama Chiku sat beside the dying fire. Her bones ached with sorrow. She could feel her daughter's heartbeat fading beneath the waves. That night, she took her drum of ancestors, carved from the heart of the baobab, and she began to chant, softly, rhythmic. "Mutoti, river of whispers, I call you by your name. Return what is not yours, or I will summon the storm that remembers." The river shivered. The sky darkened. Even the frogs stopped singing. The elders of Tucana gathered, begging her to stop. "You cannot fight a spirit, Mama Chiku." But she struck the drum harder. A mother does not fight the spirit. She fights for her child beneath the waves. Louis felt the tremor of her song. "Who dares disturb my peace?" he roared, his voice shaking the water. But Amani smiled faintly. "That is my mother," she whispered. "She does not fear you." The river began to twist, currents spinning faster and faster. Louis's anger turned to desperation. "If you leave, the river will die." Amani stepped closer, her eyes fierce with truth. "Then let it die if it cannot flow freely." She lifted her mother's bracelet. It glowed like fire beneath the water. The light spread, chasing away the shadows. The palace walls began to crumble like salt. The maidens cried out, and suddenly the waters opened, a great tunnel of light leading upward. Amani ran, swimming as fast as her fear. Behind her, Louis's voice echoed, sad and furious. "Amani, without me, you will be nothing." She shouted back, her voice clear as wind through reeds. Without wisdom, even love becomes a curse. And then she broke through the surface, gasping, sobbing, into the storm her mother had called. Lightning split the sky. Mama Chiku stood by the riverbank, arms raised high, her drum still beating. When she saw her daughter crawl out of the water, weak but alive, she dropped to her knees and wept. Ah, Mwana Wangu, my child, you have returned. But the river was not done. It rose one last time, a wall of water, furious and wounded. Mama Chiku stood firm, chanting, "River of Whispers, your name will be remembered, but your pride ends tonight." She threw her drum into the water. It sank, and the storm fell silent. The river slowly returned to its bed, calm once more, but different. Some say from that day, the river Mutozi never whispered again. Amani lived, but she was never the same. She became a healer like her mother, gentle, patient, wise. When young girls came to her speaking of love, she would smile sadly and say, "If the river calls your name, listen first to your mother." And when the moon was full, she would sit by the water's edge, listening to the silence, and sometimes, just sometimes, she thought she heard Louis's voice, soft and distant, saying, "I loved you, Amani," to which she would whisper, "And I remember." Then she would rise and walk home, her bracelets jingling in rhythm with her heart, no longer heavy, but whole. Ah, my children, you have listened well. Love is a river, but wisdom is the shore. Without one, the other is lost. So remember this tale of Amani, who loved too quickly, and Lue, who loved too fiercely. Remember Mama Chiku, whose wisdom pulled her daughter from the depths, because the heart that listens will never drown.